Welcome. So in this video, we're going to be answering this question before us, which says for the function g of x is equal to 2 over x plus 3 minus 4. So the first thing that I would want you to recognize is that this function is a rectangular hyperbola, and that's going to be important as we go along in this question. The first thing that we have to do here is find the implied domain of the function. So the implied domain, this is worth 1 mark. So we just need one piece of information here, and we have to make sure that it's accurate to get that full 1 mark. Okay, so to do this, we could do it graphically, but I think the easiest thing that we could do here is simply recognize that if my x here was equal to -3, that means I would get 0 in my denominator. And we know that we can't divide something by 0, so therefore what my domain is going to be, realizing that my domain is just all the possible x values, is going to be all real numbers excluding -3. Because if it was equal to -3, I'll get 0 in my denominator. So that's how you could do it algebraically. If you wanted to do it graphically, you could give yourself a little sketch of this rectangular hyperbola. So we know that because I've got +3 here, it's moving -3 this way. So this is x is equal to -3. And because I've got this -4, I know I'm moving -4 down. So this is y is equal to -4. And then I just know it's going to look like this. And then based on this, you can clearly see that my domain is all my real numbers except for -3. Or again, you could think about it algebraically with the 0 in your denominator, it breaks, and that's how you could think about it. So that's 1 mark. So make sure you've got every piece of this correct. So you've got your all real numbers / the correct brackets, and then of course -3. And make sure you're using these squiggly brackets, not the round ones for these type of things. Next, B, make sure that you bring a highlighter in. I just find that it's important that you're highlighting the key term. So B, we need to find the coordinates of the y-intercept. Very key word here, coordinates. It wants the answer in coordinates. It doesn't just want y is equal to something, it wants the coordinates. It's worth 2 marks as well. So that means it's going to be 1 mark for working, and then 1 mark for those coordinates. Alright, so if we're to give this a go, the first thing I'm going to say is to find my y-intercept, we're going to let x equal 0, which is going to leave me with y is equal to, now if there was a 0 here, I'm going to be left with 2 on 3 minus 4. And now I have to make this 4 have a common denominator with this 2 on 3. So that means I'm going to end up with 2 on 3 minus 12 on 3. So just to go really slowly there, how did I get this? Well, I know that 4 is the same as 4 over 1, right? And if I now wanted to have a denominator of 3, I'm going to multiply the bottom by 3. I have to also multiply the top by 3, because whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. That's how I'm getting 12 on 3 there. Once I've then done that, the next thing that I'm going to do is simply subtract these. So 2 minus 12 is going to be -10 on 3. Now, most people would stop here. They would say, hey, look, this is my y-intercept. Y is equal to -10 on 3. But look, it says coordinates. Your answer must be in coordinates. So it means your answer is going to be 0, -10 on 3. Just like that. So remember, it's worth 2 marks, 1 mark for the working, 1 mark for your coordinates. So make sure you're looking into that mark scheme. Next, let's grab our highlighter out again. So for C, what we're doing is we're finding the coordinates again, but this time of x-intercepts. So how are we going to do this? The first thing I'm going to say is let y equal 0, because that's how you find your x-intercepts. So that means I'm going to get 0 is equal to 2 on x plus 3 minus 4. Let me just double check that is correct. 2x plus 3 minus 4, perfect. And now I'm just going to rearrange, so I isolate this x by itself. So I'm going to plus 4 on both sides to start off with. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by x plus 3. So that's going to leave me with 4x plus 3 here. And then just 2 on this side. So just to slow down there for a second, what did I do? I multiplied this side by x plus 3, and I multiplied this side by x plus 3. So 4 times x plus 3 is how I'm getting this, because remember, this has brackets here, and this has brackets here. And then this side, this just goes away with that. So that's how I'm getting this. And then finally, what I would do is go x plus 3 equals 2 on 4. So what I did there was I divided both sides by 4. So I divided this side by 4 and this side by 4. So a quicker way to do that, and this is for those who recognize what we're doing is once you're at this place right here, you could have actually just swapped the x plus 3, put it up there, and put the 4 down there, and end up with that. But I just thought I'd go slowly, just to make sure they were all on the same page. Okay, once I've done that, let's now bring this up here for some more spacing. Make sure that you're working neatly through these things. I have x plus 3 equals, now instead of writing 2 on 4, I'm just going to write a half, because it's the same thing. Then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so I'm going to get a half minus 3. I'm going to have to get common denominators again. So that means what I'm going to end up with here is half minus 6 on 2. So just to go slowly here, what I did is I know that 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So I would have to times this by 2 and this by 2. And that's how I get that. And that means what I'm going to get now is 1 minus 6, which is 5 minus 5 on 2. And that means my final answer here, let me put it over here, will be negative 5 on 2, 0. So remember, this thing is worth 2 marks. So 1 mark for the working, and then 1 mark for your final answer. And that's my final answer, just as this is my final answer. Whoopsie daisy. Last one, find the range of g of x. Now, I think when you're finding the range, it's done most helpfully when you can actually picture what you have. So the fact that we have this right here. So remember at the beginning, we answered the domain by first considering it algebraically, but we also considered it graphically. And picturing it graphically is helpful because now when we come to the range, we can simply look at what we drew and you can clearly see that my range, realizing that my range is all the possible y's, is going to be all my y values except for negative 4. So y is all real numbers except for negative 4. And that is going to be my answer. Now it's only worth 1 mark, so make sure you've got everything correct in that. So you've got the all real numbers, the slash, and then the correct brackets as well. And there you go, there is your 1 mark. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next one.